All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to the next episode of Farthest Thunder. Do a quick recap and we'll dive right in. You guys finally made it off the Ionla after a harrowing escape from a certain synthetic that seemed to want to stab you with some black goo. Uh, for some reason, you decided to bring Aiko with you. And last session, we spent really kind of decompressing and figuring out where you guys stood with each other, where you guys wanted to go, what you guys wanted to do, and how to proceed from here. Um, hmm, uh, you spent that time on the Wicket, which was uh, the Throop R&R uh, salvage vessel. It's not the fastest ship around, but it is still faster than the Great Mother ship, the Yanla. And you made for the closest colony. Took you about 20 days to get there. You will arrive here 4 days ahead of the Ianla, which is also en route to this colony. So Alecto, who is the captain of the Wicked and the three ship convoy that escaped the Ianla, uh, suggested that you stop here, resupply, and move on before the Ianla arrives. Uh, Basically, you want to stay one step ahead of them. And because you guys want to avoid that sociopathic, psychotic synthetic that wants to kill everyone. You're not quite sure what the state of the Great Mother ship is with that android on the loose, and with some, at least, black goo, because the rest of that black goo is in, or was in Gideon's possession for a while before he relinquished it to Captain Electo Throop, and then found by the roving and inquisitive janitor Aiko, who now has it, but no one else knows about it quite yet. Um,
It's
as
in a
you
boot.
approach, as you approach this planet, you did a flyover of the colony, and it looked like a ramshackle collection of shacks and makeshift huts, cobbled together with whatever scraps they managed to preserve over the last 75 years. Kind of spread out across a number of these large plateaus, these large mesas that rise hundreds of meters above the jungle floor. These mesas or plateaus are connected by these long rope bridges. And it seems as though they have separate plateaus for different parts of their community. One is like a shanty town, another one is their farm. It seems like there's another devoted to some sort of square of some kind or gathering place. Um, and you saw people down there, survivors who would look up at you curiously, kind of pointing as you flew over them. But there wasn't really a convenient place for you to land except in the middle of their farm land. So, being the ever so uh, kind people that you are, you decided not to squash all their crops and found an adjacent unoccupied mesa to land upon. Uh, Thanks to Gideon's excellent piloting skills, he managed to bring the ship down far better than even Ezra did on the last time he tried to land an SEV. Uh, but as you landed and you begin the shutdown sequence of your engines and prepare for a landing party, you notice emerging from the bush a number of individuals wearing nothing but rags or loincloths at best, their fingernails and their teeth and mouths caked in blood, cuts and scars covering their bodies, mud and sticks kind of caught in their hair, wielding spears, crude looking knives, clubs. Look like you landed in a community of Stone Age people. And that's where we left off. And this is where I'm going to ask you, what would you like to do as these six curious, ferocious looking savages approach your ship.
Maybe they're friendly.
What kind of business would they have with us? Think they're here to trade? Doesn't look like it to me.
South, let me give you a free lesson in negotiation. Go tell them that joke you know.
Which one?
Whatever one you got. You go tell them.
No, I don't know. You're up to something. I don't like that one bit.
Why don't you go tell him, Aiko?
Yeah, why don't you go tell them a joke? I don't know what these people are capable of, and I don't even know they speak English.
I'll just remind you that the layout of this ship, it's small. It's only about 50 meters, 54 meters in length. And the cockpit where you are looking out is almost like a bubble hanging down from the front of the ship on the bottom of the ship. So you're literally maybe only 10, 15 feet above the ground. And you can see them clearly, and they can see you clearly, like you're in a fishbowl, and they're looking at you as they approach.
Gideon's just gonna kind of awkwardly wave at them. Like, hi, please don't kill us.
Who's got the guns right now?
I just got this knife. I'm gonna make sure none of them come aboard. And he goes to the there's like a bay door, right, in the cargo bay. So he'll wait there for the party to decide, but he's gonna basically be security.
I got a pulse rifle. I forgot about that.
Might be handy.
So I'll go to the cargo bay with Otmar.
Captain Lynn.
Mags would go
accompanies
too.
you.
She's got spade.
All right. So 3 of you and Captain Lynn.
Mags would say,
I think the deal here is to spook them. You see, show them what this sort of firepower means. Might turn the heat down a little.
You hear Captain Electo Throop's voice come in over the comms as you assemble within the cargo bay, ready to be lowered, with the door ready to be lowered. And she says, now you be careful out there. Our readings indicate that the planet's atmosphere is breathable. But it is apparently 48 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit for you Americans.
90?
120, something like
fucking
that.
hot.
Yeah. It's over 100. Would Otmar have on his suit from the mechanic role, or would he not?
You would have a suit.
Can you put that in his
Oh, right. Compression suit?
Yeah.
Sure can.
Also, all his stuff is in the inactive grouping. I don't know how to move it to active.
Oh, I think if you just click on the image.
Okay. Yep. That does it. Thank you.
All right.
Oops.
Compression.
Can I make an observation check if there's anybody in this group of people that either stands out as a leader or someone of significance?
Sure. Let's make an observation check. You have stress already? When did that happen?
I think, well, because I was putting the stuff in the boot and then I came out and we haven't really rested since
Okay.
that.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you do notice that there is one individual amongst the 6 that seems to be directing the others. It's a woman. Clear blue eyes, which is quite striking against her dark complexion.
I'm going to begrudgingly nudge Electo and I'm going to point out the leader to her, and I'd be like, "That's the one in charge."
Thank you, Mr. Kimura. And she flips a switch to speak to you folks back in the cargo bay and says, "Now remember, we're here to trade. We're not here to slaughter the locals. Please, maybe just a little show of force to scare them away."
Oh,
Aye, Captain.
Hmm. Can I make? I don't know what kind of check this would be, but Aiko over the few weeks, he's become a master of cleaning supplies, and one of them has got to be like either flammable or explosive. Can he? I don't know. Maybe it's a survival check to basically make like a mini Molotov cocktail that they could light and throw out.
Yeah, go ahead and make a survival check to see if you know how to, your basic chemistry.
Yes, and
Yeah.
He
All
dropped
right.
it at the shit on fire.
Aiko, yes. You managed to pull together your makeshift chemistry set with all your cleaning materials. In your scheming off hours where you're just mixing chemicals together to see what happens. You managed to concoct something which you think is possibly gross, maybe explosive. And as you pull it out, yes, you drop it. It goes crack and the contents spill over the floor.
Does anybody see this?
Oh yeah. It's a small ship. It's a cramped room.
Well, I guess you'll get to clean that up.
Akko, you missed a spot.
And this the purpose of this particular thing was to be a Molotov cocktail. You want it to be combustible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so luckily it wasn't lit, but you know that if a spark lands on it, it's going to set this ship on fire.
Whereabouts would you say this is? Probably near the entrance, right? Because I'd be carrying it to so probably just inside the entrance bay there.
Yeah.
So it now smells very badly like gasoline and chemicals. It's actually quite unpleasant.
How'd that
This is
work out for
why
you,
we
Aiko?
need. What was that, guys? The Scott, was it?
Scotty?
Oh,
The guy who was going to build the bomb?
Yeah.
Carl? Carl's not.
Carl,
He's
yeah.
back
This
on
is
the
why we
young
need a
one.
Carl.
There is another crew member on this ship, one of the other engineers. And he's by the door. He sees you as this thing crashes onto the floor, starts smelling and says, "That wouldn't happen to be gasoline or anything, would it? Kerosene or something?"
Aiko's
sure
gonna be
don't-
like, yeah.
You're going to clean that up?
Can we deal with this first?
That's a fire hazard. I don't think the captain would appreciate a fire hazard on a ship.
Aiko's just gonna get a broom and a mop.
And you see the guy just standing. This guy's name is Mitch, and he just crosses his arms and he's standing there watching you mop. Just mess up.
Aiko's gonna stare him in the eyes the entire time. He's not even gonna look at what he's cleaning.
You guys are having a little bit of a staring contest. While you guys hear Electo Troop's voice coming over the comms. All right, opening the bay doors now. Get ready. You hear the sound of mechanism unlock and a hiss as the pneumatics kind of engage and the bay door starts to drop down. And it's the four of you. You see Captain Lynn. She just pulls out a knife. That's all she has. She doesn't have a gun.
Otmar's got a knife too. And he's pacing back. Like, is it a vertical, like a dropping lift?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's pacing back and forth as it's as dropping and kind of looking around. And he'll stand and look at the leader that Aiko had identified.
Megs, do you have your gun out?
No, it's holstered. But Mags is hoping that maybe she had grabbed a snack bar or a granola bar or something like that from the ship.
Okay.
If you'll allow that.
Yeah.
And she's got this food out. She like puts sort of an outstretched hand with food as they slowly approach, but she's got her other hand clearly on the grip of the pistol in its holster.
Can you make a manipulation check for me, please, Megs?
And she'll say something like, maybe we can win him with kindness here.
Oh, good roll. You see them they back away immediately as they see this platform being lowered from the belly of the ship. You can hear them talk to one another. Can you make an observation check? All the three of you can make an observation check. Wow, all those dice and only one success. Crazy. Otmar. Most of this seems like gibberish, almost like grunting and snarling more than anything, but you occasionally catch a word that sounds familiar. You understand the word gun as the leader, the woman, points to south. You see one of the barrels raise her arm as if they're going to hurl a spear. And then she kind of holds up a hand as Megs holds out a Snickers bar. And she approaches you, Megs.
Mags might say, if this doesn't work, just keep raising the stakes. And she'll slowly ease out, and she'll take sort of a neutral stance. She'll even kind of duck a little low, make herself look smaller, bow her head a little bit.
Can Otmar follow behind her? Does she want to go alone? He nods as she goes by, and like he's signaling to follow. Would she wave him off?
She says okay, but
yeah, he's got his knife is sheathed, and he's head down, following her lead.
Keep your cards close.
Alex, what posture do you take?
South is just going to have the rifle kind of lowered and just kind of scan as Mags and Otmar are giving them the Snickers.
Can you make an observation check?
I cannot.
How are you catatonic from your first stress?
I think something's messed up with the panic roller.
You have to make when you clear stress, you have to make sure you clear your panic.
Yeah, your panic is at 16. That's why. Okay.
Okay.
My panic actually probably should have been at 0 as well. Like I probably should have been at 1 stress, but that's fine.
How do you clear your panic?
Oh, you turn your panic on. You click on it, so you're panicking, and then there'll be a number, and then you can clear that number, bring it to 0, and then take the panic off.
Things.
Make sure you guys all clear your panic there.
But I still keep the 1 stress, right?
You do keep the 1 stress, yeah. These rolls about. Oh, okay. You guys are making panic rolls. Okay. No worries. You're all good. Megs, you're starving now? All right. Megs,
Sorry.
how close do you want to approach this woman? She's kind of staying a good 10 feet away from you. She's not approaching any closer to that.
So Mags will not go much further. She'll look towards the leader. Got her eyes locked on her. Will have this candy bar sort of outstretched, and she'll kneel down, and she'll put it on the ground, and then she'll do this sort of gifting motion with her hands, and then she'll take 5 paces back, still keeping her eyes on the leader. And she'll say the word food.
He takes a tentative step toward you. Another, she's never keeping, like, her gaze is locked on all of you. The others have their spears raised. Very tense moment. You can hear Captain Lin whisper in your ear, South, saying, "It's bullshit. What the hell are we doing here? We're not here trading with savages. When we just scare them away."
Lynn, you do realize that these aren't just any savages. These are your new people. This is your new home. I advise you get to know them. Maybe settle in a little bit.
Fuck you. Falls back and shuts
I
up.
expect nothing less.
The leader bends down and picks up chocolate bar. But before she can actually touch it, you all hear a gunshot ring out in the jungle. And immediately, these pharaohs scatter. But before they do so, the woman that was about to pick up the chocolate bar looks up at you, Megs, snarls, gives you a hiss for running away. A moment later, you see emerging from the jungle. The 2 of you get in. Aiko, you would see this first, likely if you're in the cockpit area. Aiko, this is after you've cleaned up your mess. And Mitch walks you back to the cockpit. You see emerging from the jungle, almost similar to where the pharaohs emerged initially, about 10 people. One of them holds a pistol in their hand. The others hold batons. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. And Aiko, you can clearly see that they wear blue overalls and a faded Wayland Yutani logo.
Is the logo like? Is this something that other people will notice, or is it something I'm probably only going to pick up on?
Everyone would probably be able to see them. It's an old style logo from like pre-isolation.
Pre-rebrand.
Mhm.
And there's 10 of them?
There are 10 of them.
I want to do another observation again to see if I can pick out if there's anything unique among them or otherwise. Oh yeah.
Didn't see a roll for some reason. It didn't come up for me.
I got 3 successes and 1 stress.
Odd. 3 successes. With the 3 successes, you can clearly see there is a leader, the one holding the gun, and as they approach the ship, he holsters the gun, and you guys can see one another. He holds up a hand, and then the other hand as the gun is in his holster, and then the 4 of you on this platform, this lift has been lowered. You can clearly see them emerge. And the leader says, "Hold up now. Don't want any trouble. Who are you?"
Aiko is going to tell Alecto, just kind of whisper a bit to her, and just be like, do not tell them anything about the Ulysses. Just play dumb.
I'm not taking orders from you, Mr. Kimura.
Think of it like a let's stay alive kind of suggestion.
She looks at you. Aren't these your people?
With that fashion sense, definitely not. But we have no idea how long they've been here. And we don't know what they want. They might have even killed those who would have been helpful to us or those who would have understood our mission. Just play dumb. Let's figure out what they want.
Well, seeing as they're wearing your logo, Mr. Kimura, perhaps you should go out and talk to them.
It is what I do best. Aiko's going to go and put his suit on for the first time in a few weeks.
Are the other 4 of us on the lift? The bottom of the
4
lift?
of you are still on the lift.
Yeah.
And something I forgot to mention, it is stinking hot in this jungle. Immediately, as soon as you're lowered down, you're bathed in sweat. The humidity here is through the roof. And on top of that, there's this odd smell. You were expecting to smell like earth and jungle and just all sorts of smells that you probably haven't smelled in a very long time. At least, maybe some of you, since you've been recently on Baxter's Reach. But it's been 6 months since you've smelled fresh air. But this smells like you're in a sauna. It feels like you're in a sauna. On top of that, there's this odd scent carried by the wind. It smells like rotting hay. This seems a little strange.
As part of that observation success, can I get a read on like what their temperament is? Are they scared? Are they neutral? Are they nervous? Angry? Like what are they?
They're suspicious.
All right. So did they greet the 4 of us on the bottom of the platform? Aiko's up in the bubble with the captain, right?
Well,
Yeah.
no, he's coming down to negotiate, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah,
but what's going on before that happens?
Yeah, so you're getting changed and all that stuff. But while you guys are down below, the 10 individuals kind of starting to fan out and start to encircle the ship. And you see the one with the pistol say, "Drop your gun there, sir."
Otmar Ettinger's the name. May I have the pleasure of your name?
Kern, drop your gun.
I have no gun, Kern. My friend behind me He's just keeping it up there. He's not going to use it. You got nothing to worry about. And your gun there, too. Not
My
going to
gun
need
is
that either.
holstered. We don't
South.
want any trouble here.
Can you lower your weapon, South?
South will lower it. I mean, it's a rifle, so he can't really holster it, but he'll lower it.
On the ground, please.
I can't do that. I can't leave
Now,
my friends defenseless.
there are only two types of people that land here. They're either raiders or fanatics. Which one are you?
We just want some resupplies. We want to trade. You have anything worth trading? What's your situation? How long you been here?
Run on the ground, sir, and we'll talk. And we'll know at least you're not here as raiders.
You said there were two type of people that come here. Well, I guess now there's a third. People who are just here to trade and move through. That's all we want to do. Don't want to hurt nobody. If we really wanted to murder, I don't think we would have killed those savages that were here before you. I mean, no one any harm. Max tried to give him a Snickers just to ease tensions.
You can call us contributors.
You're lucky to still have your heads. If we hadn't come along, you would have been their dinner. Guaranteed.
They didn't seem particularly harmful. Seemed okay. What have they been doing here?
Listen, we're not going to stand here all day. Either you drop your weapon, or we'll leave you to the ferals. Your choice.
Hey, Electo, I don't think they got anything to trade. Shall we spin it out?
Roger that. Hold one moment. Mr. Kimura is coming down.
No. Don't let him come down here. No. Please.
Okay, we'll get him off, and then we'll yeah.
I'm good with that.
All right, spin him up.
All right, bring you boys back up. And you can feel the lift engage, and you guys are being lifted back up. You see the 10 people kind of back away a little bit. And they say, no. You ain't going anywhere. You stop right there. We'll put a bullet hole through your ship. You won't be leaving the atmosphere.
I mean, this is a ship, right? What's a pistol gonna do to the hull of the ship? Probably not much, right?
Otmar's not worried about it. He'll patch those holes.
So
Do they
as
all
you guys
seem to
are,
have pistols or just the one?
they all are carrying pistols, but only she had hers out.
Got it.
So as you guys are being lifted back up into the ship, Aiko, you're still changing into your suit, trying to make yourself presentable. Gideon, what are you up to?
Before they were gonna get pulled up, I wanted to kind of go and hang out nearby just in case fighting started to happen, so I could try and help. But I feel like now he's kind of just sitting in the cockpit, like craning his neck, trying to see what's going on. Kind of unsure of whether or not we're actually leaving or if this is just kind of a joke.
Well, as you get back to the cockpit, you see the 10 individuals come around to the front of the ship. They pull out their guns and they're aiming at the glass.
Captain, group, are we sure this is a good idea?
There's a small arms fire. I mean, this glass is thick, but I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. She flips a switch. The lift is almost back up into the ship and says, Mr. Ettinger, I'm cutting the engines. I'm not letting them shoot my ship.
We'll have to go have a conversation with them then.
She kind of stands there looking at them through the glass bubble. Who do you want to send?
Definitely not me, since I have a firearm. They don't seem too keen on me.
I mean, isn't Ico going? Doesn't that?
He volunteered.
Maybe we send Ico down there, let him distract him, and we spool the engines up, get
Yeah.
out of here while he's distracting.
Yeah. He gets shot or we leave him behind. It's a win-win scenario.
Oh, and we can leave him Lynn as well, so Ico and Lynn can go down there.
Yeah. Otmar's willing to go also. He's willing to go. He plans on coming back and he wants to leave, but he'll go down.
I'll go too.
Well, you two are going down there. Or, excuse me. You four are going down there. You two are the only two that are of our importance to us. So, need you guys back. Whatever happens to Ico and Lynn especially, wouldn't really be too upset about.
So is Ico done putting his makeup on now?
Since
Yep.
everybody is going down, can I just kind of hide, not like go out with them, but just kind of hide out nearby just in case?
I'm not going.
South is staying because they don't. Bringing the gun out again is just going to be another
Okay.
standoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at least I've got a gun to defend the ship.
Yeah.
If
You're like
something
10
were to
feet
happen.
off the ground watching or whatever. Like, how high are they? How low does the lift go?
Yeah, it's about a 10-foot lift. So,
Okay.
are you going to stay on the ship then, Gideon, or are you going to go down the lift with them?
I'll stay on the
Interesting.
ship.
Okay, but in
All
the
I have
cargo
is a
bay?
cutting torch. Yeah. All I have is a cutting torch. I'm going to be dead immediately.
Oh, those are deadly, though, cutting torches in this game. All right. So, Gideon, you're staying on board in the cargo bay. South, you're up there with them. Is that correct? You're staying on board the ship?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on board so I don't add more fuel to the fire with the rifle.
All right. So it's Lynn, Aiko, Mags, and Otmar going down. So you can hear Captain Throop kind of talk on the comms, so exterior speaker saying, "Hold on a sec. We're sending a group down to talk. No weapons." They still have their guns trained on the little glass bubble cockpit. 4 of you are lowered back down, and again, once more, immediately hit by the heat and the humidity of this place. Stifling hot. It would seem as though the locals here are at least somewhat accustomed to it by now. And even them, you can see sweat streaming down their faces. Some of them are coughing, clearly uncomfortable in this humidity. But the leader steps forward again. Search them. And you see 2 people approaching each of you.
It's a bit rude. Can I search you after?
Whoa, 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 whoa. I am not keen on being touched. You keep your paws to yourself. You're worried about firearms on us while you've got them on you? This ain't a fair negotiation.
Seem to be mistaken. You're the ones that came here to our home. We're just here to protect it.
We've got plenty to offer.
He looks up at the ship. This tugboat?
Oh, I bet you got 2 more just like it in the back, don't you?
Where are you from? I don't recognize the markings on this ship.
You ever heard of Baxter's Reach?
Can't say that I have. You don't strike me as the off-worlder types.
We're trying to get resupplies so we can keep moving. That's what we want to do. And if you can help us with that, then we should talk. And if you can't, we'll get out your hair.
So you are raiders with a conscience, then?
Why you keep saying raiders?
I think you're missing the T there. I think it's more traders, don't you think? We're willing to trade.
Do you have water or food? Can I spell it out? Are there things that you value that we might have? I don't know. Maybe. Or do you just want to fuck each other up? Because I'm good for that too.
Echo, are you wearing any external Weyland-Yutani insignia?
Just the suit.
Well, but this is a pinstripe suit. This is almost a generic banker in a sense. If he has a Weyland-Yutani like gold pin insignia, but he's not wearing that.
By the way, if you do extend, exert yourself in this climate, and you are wearing something like that, you will be rolling like the equivalent of exhaustion. We'll be making there's exhaustion type effects, heat exhaustion, and you are sweating under this suit right now. And they look past you guys and I don't think I've ever seen a raider wear a suit before.
Aiko's gonna straighten his tie and kind of push Otmar and Mags and just kind of step in. Sorry about that. They've been trapped on this tin can for a while. You know how it is. We're just passing through systems. We're on a simple recon mission. We're more of a research and expedition type of thing. We go to different planets. We survey them. We actually weren't scheduled to stop here, but we needed to make a resupply. These guys aren't used to such indignities, let's say. They haven't had many guns pointed at them, but I do apologize. The name's Aiko. What's yours?
Murray. And you're full
Murray.
of shit, Aiko. A tugboat like that, in deep space like this? No way. You would have come out of cryo, or I don't think there's enough cryo beds in that ship to carry the lot of you. No, there's a bigger ship around, isn't there?
I just told you, we do reconnaissance. We are a survey and expedition team, and we report our findings to an intergalactic research station. And in fact, what I see here is quite interesting. We weren't expecting to find life. We were just going to pop down, see if we could gather some primitive supplies, maybe make our own fuel, grab an apple or two, and pop off. So hey, it's nice to see such civilized folk like you.
Make a manipulation check for me.
Warren. Oh,
Fine, let's say you are who you say you are. Who's sponsoring your mission?
can Aiko like pull on his extensive knowledge of like all sorts of charities and organizations and stuff he's worked from in the past?
You want to make up a
Yeah,
bullshit?
but I want to combine it with like it's like the UNP collaborative. Yeah, it's like the Great Collective Collaborative.
Well, the Great Mother Mission was a UN mission, so I don't know. It wouldn't be too far from the truth.
the Great the Collective Collaborative. That's who we're with. Yeah.
Mags wants to
just-
step forward.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to step forward and say,
Aiko, cut the shit. Listen, we're refugees. All right, from a place called Baxter's Reach. Most of us, anyways. I suppose all of us in one way or another. We were on a ship that we didn't belong on, taken from our planet after it was destroyed right before us. At least everything we knew and cared about it. And yeah, we're here to resupply. But we can also contribute. I think we've got a lot in common. Your folk and our folk. Actually, you boil it down, we're a lot alike. So why don't you cut the shit as well? It's not just Aiko pulling the bullshit here. Let's work together. I'm sure we can find something mutual. And if not, let's take it to blows.
and she draws the gun but does not lift it.
What do you say?
Make a manipulation roll for me, Megs.
I like this no bullshit, Mags.
You want to push that? One success. He looks at you, looks over at Aiko. Well, one of you certainly is a bullshitter. And I never trusted a guy in a suit.
This is Armani.
And she kind of motions for her crew to put their guns away, so they all holster their pistols. And he extends a hand out to you, Megs. Murray McGovern.
Aiko's gonna reach over and shake. Glad you came around. Glad you came around.
What is the deal with the suit?
Lead with your best foot forward. Strength first, command power, yada, yada, yada. We can go over that later. What's important is we're all friends. Let's have a drink. Aiko's gonna nudge south to like get that shitty whiskey.
I am not down there. Back on the shit.
You could yell
stayed on
back
the
to the
ship.
ship for it. You could yell up to him.
Yeah. South, give me that piss water.
Talking about the whiskey?
Yeah.
Wait, South, we got whiskey?
Yeah, I found it the other day.
Oh man.
Let's take this back to the elders then.
I guess South will come down with the whiskey, but still having the rifle. as tensions may have or seem to have calmed down, maybe.
And Murray kind of tries to lead you a little away from the group, Megs, so we can talk to you privately without Aiko around. Interject.
The name's Magnolia Cross, but my friends call me Mags.
Pleased to meet you, Mags. So you're calling Baxter's Reach? You said it was destroyed? Nuked
From outer space.
By who?
Look, we've got a lot we can talk about, but I'm not quite ready to talk about that. You see, still feel the scars. You know, haven't quite finished healing. But I'll say this: you can trust us. Aiko, he's harmless. Just ignore the mouth. We'll be fine.
All right. Take you back to our camp. The pharaohs will be all over their ship as soon as we leave, though. If you want, you can try and bring it over to our community. Not really anywhere to land it except in the fields, but it'll be safer there than here.
Hey, Troop, you want to move the ship to their compound, or you want to pick up in orbit?
If there are, she replies, if there are supplies or trade to be had, I'd rather have the ship here. Entering and leaving orbit is challenging. I'd rather not incur that extra risk. We'll just get everything done in one shot.
Can you give us the coordinates of the landing site?
Murray says, "Yeah. I mean, you must have seen it when you flew over. It's just it's a large field. Can't miss it." Yeah, it's not safe for your ship here. Now,
They'd relay that information back to the cockpit.
do you want to travel back on foot with us, or do you want to?
I could stand to stretch my legs. How about you, Max?
I'm all in. Let's walk. Been a long time since I breathed air like this, although it's fucking hot here.
She starts taking off her jacket.
Otmar just turns down the climate control of his compression suit.
It says, yeah, it's a bit of a way. We should arrive at our what you call it? At our dwelling. We call it a dwelling. Before your ship arrives to warn them. So give us an hour, and then bring your ship over. In the meantime, keep your bays closed. Otherwise, you'll be overrun by pharaohs. And yeah, you don't want that.
Wait, so you're not going to let us walk with you? You want us to wait an hour and then walk?
Oh, no. You can send an advance party. We'll walk to the camp, to our dwelling together, and then the ship can come afterwards.
Got it. And relay that to the cockpit.
So Throop says, so who wants to go on an advance party?
Echo's not walking through this desert.
I want to go, but I feel like I'm the only one who can actually fly the ship, so probably not.
Well, if Aiko's not going, Aiko doesn't have a weapon anyway. I guess
we could take the ship too if it's easier. I don't want to make it a whole production.
I think South will stay on the ship just in case anything happens on the ship, since he's the only one with a firearm left on the ship, since Mags is leaving with the pistol.
Max, maybe we all stick together then. Mute.
All right, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. Clearly, we've got a communication failure with our own group. We'll meet you there.
All right. We'll see you there in an hour.
In an hour. We'll bring the whiskey. And I swear to you, it's not piss water.
Shit we're drinking now anyway, so be glad for it. All right, see you in an hour. And again, keep your ship sealed up tight. He turns around, let's move out, heading back. And
Echo's still gonna grab the whiskey and be like, "For your boys," and just huck him the bottle.
all right, he grabs it, takes a look at the label. Mighty thankful. Tucks it away into a little satchel and they head out. So Throop, once you're all back on board, she seals up the cargo bay door, the lift. So what do you think? Can they be trusted? We're bringing our ship into their community. Could be a trap.
I don't like how they treated the other folks that came out, but I don't really see another option that we have.
How bad are we hurting for supplies?
We're burning through them very quickly. So we'll be lucky if we last another month.
Well, seems like really don't have a choice.
I mean, we have to resort to cannibalism. We can always eat Echo first.
Too skinny. Probably only last maybe a few weeks.
Well,
All right.
I'll say this. He did call us raiders, and once we get a look at their camp, maybe that's an option too.
No, we're not doing that.
Think of it like a corporate raid. Go in, we take everything of value, and leave the rest to burn. I think it's a perfect.
So, like Baxter's Reach? No, I'm not doing that.
They be the cooperative.
Guys, we're just brainstorming here.
All right. We'll take the ship in. We'll take Wicked in. But I'd like to keep the guns on board. So South, if you want to be part of the delegation to talk with them, I'll ask you to give your gun over to Mitch here.
So, you trust them? Trust them enough to let us go into their dwelling unarmed? Where there's probably more than just 10 of them?
Honestly, I'm being completely frank here. The ship is more important.
So, what happens if they try to muscle us out of the ship and we're left with no way to defend ourselves? They take us hostage, tell you to give them the ship for us. Doesn't bode well.
negotiations go well then. I don't mean
Aiko
to be
would
a
like
bitch
to-
here, but the safety
Oh.
of my ship and my crew comes first.
I understand.
Of the cleaning
mean,
supplies Aiko was working with, was one of them particularly like foul smelling, like horrible?
Nah, I mean, just it's the worst one. Probably smells like bleach or something. It's not going to be.
No, nothing. So we couldn't make like something that would
Stink
smell
bomb?
horrible, like a stink bomb, basically, if we needed to.
If you want to try, I'll let you roll again.
Sure, I'll give it the
Don't
old
drop it.
college try.
It'll be a survival check again.
Swear to God, if you drop a stink bomb on us,
Ooh,
I my chat thing.
that is a fail.
The fail. Okay. Just gonna reload my foundry because I think it's out of sync. In the meantime, with that fail, I see a little panic thing. It's just no effects of the panic.
Just managed to keep it
Keeping it
together.
together.
There.
Okay. All right. No, you're unable to make anything. The components, the ingredients on the ship aren't conducive to like a stink bomb. All right. After an hour, is there any preparations you guys want to make in that hour?
Is there anything of value on this ship that we can trade with them or give them?
Tools.
Okay, so I guess we'll gather up a bunch of miscellaneous wrenches and mini blowtorches and stuff like that.
Otmar. Andrea approaches you while you guys are waiting for that hour. And says, "Do you mind if I accompany you? I'd like to just, if I'm going to live here, I'd like to see what it's like."
You're free to do whatever you want.
I just don't want to get in the way of whatever negotiations you guys are trying to make. Just want to get a feel for the
Everybody-
place and the people.
Aiko's getting in the way. You're gonna do no harm. Everybody's getting in there. I'm getting in the way. Gonna go to shit probably on my account.
Okay. All right. I hope not. For everyone's sake. Okay. I'll keep a low profile. And Captain Lin is also there and says, I'm coming with you too. I don't know who else you have on your delegation you want to send, but I'll be there too. So
Yes, you're right.
Who all is going then?
Otmar, Mags, Lynn, Andrea, Aiko, South, Gideon, everybody.
I know Gideon would want to go.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, he'll go.
Yeah, Echo will go if the whole crew is going.
South will give up the rifle, I guess. Very reluctantly, not very.
Or
too
you could
keen on
hang
that.
back and defend the ship like that. Maybe that's important, right?
So if we all go, that pretty much leaves the ship unattended, right?
No, there's still the remainder of the crew and Captain Throop, who has the ability to pilot the ship as well, with Gideon if you want to go.
Yeah, I want to go. Gideon doesn't want to miss out on the excitement.
All right.
So yeah, if there's enough people left with Throop to kind of keep the ship safe per se, I guess South will give up the rifle to the crew and go with everybody.
Mags does not surrender. Her pistol. Nope, nope, nope. But she goes. She'll try.
Technically, it would be concealable, right? She could like try to hide it, like a shirt or something, waistband.
Sure.
Delete the rifle from your inventory. Oh. And you guys can all clear your stress and your panic, because after an hour, that'll all be gone. But Gideon, I'm going to have you make a piloting check
Okie dokie.
to see if you can navigate to. Right. So you lift up, clear the trees in this clearing without too much difficulty. And as you fly over this colony, they call it their dwelling. Let me see. I'll bring you to bird's eye view. That's
Did that the other day in my Fallout game, and nobody told me they couldn't see anything. I felt like an idiot. I was like, "Why didn't you guys say something?" You guys are just staring at a black screen.
all right. So this is where you were on this outcropping here, this plateau, and this is where you've been instructed to land in this field. So it's quite a large community, if you can tell by this by the scale down here. Each little square there is 10 by 10 meters. It's quite large and it spans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half a dozen plateaus, all kind of strung together and connected by these rope bridges. I will need you to make one more piloting check it in as you bring it in to land on the farm. All right, so you bring Wicket in for a smooth landing. You land in this field, and you see, as you do so, a large contingent of villagers, colonists, kind of waiting there to greet you. And at their head are a number of individuals that look like their leaders or their elders. And as Captain Throop lowers the bay lift to bring you down into the fields, which look like a mixture of corn, soybean, just kind of a whole mixture of different types of crops. Most of the people here look similarly dressed to the ones that met you by the ship when you first arrived, wearing the blue overalls, standard issue from Wayland Yutani. Most of them don't have like any undershirts or anything like that. It's so darn hot here that they wear as little clothing as possible. Many of them hold their farming utensils or tools or whatnot. But you see these four individuals that kind of step forward. Clearly, they're leaders. And I'll describe each of them for you. This woman here looks of South Asian descent. She has a permanent scowl on her face as she looks at you. Her arms are crossed as you descend from the ship. This individual here. He looks darker complexion, perhaps Latino. Long dark hair, kind of with streaks of gray. And as you descend, he has a broad grin on his face. This individual here, another one that looks of like East Indian descent. Broad face, well trimmed beard, wearing a collared shirt, which seems a little out of place amongst everyone else here. He's probably the oldest of the four. And he also has a smile on his face as he sees you. And this last woman here, she looks East Asian descent, quite young, maybe early mid 20s. And she too does not seem too pleased at your appearance. You see this individual step forward. Welcome. Welcome to our colony. I am Viran Semenya, one of the elders, the dwelling. Kind of hands his gaze across the 6 of you, or 7 of you down there. 7 of you. You stand on this platform. And he extends his hand.
South will shake it if no one else will.
As you shake his hand, he pulls you in a little and gives you like a half hug as you shake his hand. So it's been so nice to see you. It's quite a rare occurrence to have visitors or humble dwelling here. Can I ask who are you affiliated with? There was mention of perhaps a scientific mission.
No, that's Psycho just bullshitting. We're not affiliated with anyone. We were affiliated with Baxter's Reach, but it's no longer around. We've just been kind of bouncing around, trying to scavenge supplies just to get to the next place.
Yes. So you are from another colony within the far spinwards, then.
Yes.
Did tell me that your colony was nuked.
And as he says the word nuke, South's eyes kind of shoot a glance towards Heiko and look back at him and say, yeah, it was completely destroyed. We don't really have a home anymore.
Terribly sorry to hear that. That is distressing. We've all fallen upon hard times since the isolation started. Us too, Dylan Colony. We had to abandon it and find shelter up here to survive the elements of this planet when our generators and power supplies started to fail. And I understand you've met the Ferals already.
Yeah, what's deal with them? Are they people you exiled from the colony, or what's the deal with them?
No, we're not. We're not. No. We have a long and sordid history, shall we say, not one that we're terribly proud of. But there was a schism within our community early on in the isolation, and when Dylan Colony collapsed, we split. Some of us escaped up here to these mesas, and the others chose to remain on the jungle floor. And those that remained upon the jungle floor seem to regress, unfortunately.
Well, if I'm being frank, sorry to hear that, but we're really just here to maybe resupply. We've brought some stuff to trade. Maybe South kind of pointed all the stuff that Ico's kind of packed up and brought down on a crate, and maybe just some fuel, some food, just the essentials would really help.
You see this woman who was standing there with a scowl on her face and her arms crossed move up to you, South, kind of look you up and down, move past you, and you can tell she's evaluating each and every one of you as she kind of gives you all the once over. She stops at you, Megs. What's your deal?
Just passing through, like he says. I have no agenda with you. Friendly trade. That's my deal.
Trade. She turns back to the other elders and when did we hear that before? Has it been less than a year? Or have your memories grown so short that you don't recall what happened last time? Traders came by. Never answered. Who are you affiliated with? Likely, some of you are survivors from another spinward colony, but who is he? Points to Aiko.
Is she addressing that to Mags, or is she like addressing it to the group?
And asking anyone who wants to answer.
I'm the leader of this ragtag crew.
Max rolls her eyes.
Gideon
looks
Yeah, I
steps
think-
back like, no.
Yeah, I think everybody's rolling their eyes.
As you can see, I have very lax discipline policies.
She turns back to you, Megs. Who is he?
Wayland Yutani.
Aiko's just gonna be like, ah.
Former Wayland Yutani.
When you say that,
Very terminated.
this young woman here, it's like she looked almost bored standing there with you guys. But her ears perk up immediately when she hears that, and she looks excited for a moment, and she approaches you, Aiko, and says, "You're from Wayland Yutani. Did they send you here?"
Indirectly.
So we can finally get off this fucking rock?
My sentiments exactly, yes, but could be possible. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, we're not here to pick up anybody. He's full of shit. We just come here to do some trading and leave. We didn't come here to rescue anybody. We didn't come here to get in your squabble between you and people down there. I'm not interested in any politics, just simple trade and out.
He looks at you with utter disdain. So, and then back at you, Icon. Just, you're gonna let that backwater hillbilly talk to you like that?
There's two Icos? What just happened?
Well, I'm running low on personal guards, but the way you think.
We, as she motions to the other three, are all Whale and Yutani executives.
Does Aiko
Also-
recognize any of them?
I'm gonna have you make a I'm gonna have you make an observation check, but I'm gonna take 3 dice away from you because this is a colony that's kind of been off grid for a while.
Okay, so I'll add -3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You do recall that Dylan Colony was on the list of colonies under the purview of Wayland Yutani. You don't know the names of any of these other elders yet, so you don't know who they are. But it is likely that there were executives from your company that were members of this colony. This colony was apparently quite large, up to 90,000 people at one point. It was
And
a
how
substantial
long ago
population.
was it? So this is still from the Purge, like the Great Silence kind of period?
Yeah, this is one of the earlier colonies that was established in the far Spinwards before the isolation.
Aiko's gonna kind of nod and start. That kind of look like it's all coming back to me now. Yes, actually, yes, it's true. Dylan Colony was a heavily seeded planet. This is good. We're connecting. I think we can work together. I happen to be president of the UNCSS Ianla. Yeah.
He says, "Well, it's an honor to meet you, President. I'm Yen Yamada. Uh, uh, yeah, and these are the other execs, but you have to tell me more about how you got here. We haven't really had any contact with the Middle Heavens since before I was born. It's only been raiders and fanatics and
There was a slight mishap on the Yanla, and Aiko's gonna reach back. I'm waiting to hear word back, but as of right now, we don't quite know who's in charge, so we're kind of just laying low for a little while, till the situation.
as Yen Yamada tries, like, she will not shut up. She is super excited that there is an executive from Wayland Yutani amongst the landing party here, and she's kind of cornered you, Aiko, to monopolize your time. In the meantime, this individual steps forward, introduces himself. Leonard Espera. Unlike the others, he's dressed more like everyone else, the standard blue overalls. Large hands. He works with his hands. You can tell he's a man of like action. He's out there building things with his community. He's not one to sit behind a desk. And he extends a hand forward to you, South, recognizing another blue collar type individual.
Ethel, he'll put his hand out.
So I understand you're here for trade.
Yeah, trade. Just need some basic necessities, maybe some fuel, food, water. stuff like that.
Sure, we could find something. And he looks past you at your ship. This looks like like a salvage ship of sorts. You must have tools, perhaps even spare materials or parts.
Yeah, and he'll kind of motion to the crate that Aiko brought down or packed up. Aiko's not gonna bring anything down on his own. He'll just have somebody else do it.
Excellent. Excellent. We could use some of that. We'll talk. We'll
Of
have
course, and if you need anything, in particular, I can ask Throop, the real commander of the ship, if maybe she can look into it and maybe get it for you.
appreciate that. Do you mind if we take stock of your inventory, and in the meantime, I can have one of the farmers here show you our stores.
And by take stock, I'm assuming you mean what's on the crate that we brought down, not on the actual ship.
Of course,
I just-
whatever you're willing to trade.
Yeah, if you can go through what's on the crate, just give me a heads up. Thorpe's not too into having strangers just rummaging through the ship unattended.
He motions for a couple of workers to come forward to start looking through the crates that you've provided, and motions for like some of the farmers to escort you south, and whoever wants to accompany them to examine the food stores. You're like, but before you guys
Mags
can
would
get to, sorry,
Mags would go.
but before you guys can leave, this woman speaks up once more. Are you all mad? You not do none of you find it coincidental that just last week another ship crashed with a shipload of fanatics? Now we know them, and we know that they are being hunted. How are you welcoming these strangers with open arms? We don't know anything about them. They could be fanatics themselves. Do we really know they're from Will and Jutani? Why, if so, why would they send a delegation from another colony here? I would have expected more suits, more scientists, perhaps a medical team. But instead, we have this rabble.
When you say fanatics, what do you mean? I don't think these people, these savages, as you say, are capable of flying a ship. So, what do you mean savage? What do you mean fanatics?
Tell me. You claim ignorance of the children of the two divines.
Couldn't tell you.
We might know
Is
them
that-
by a different name. Just refresh our memory.
They're fanatics who preach evolution of humanity into something else.
We preach only trade, survival.
I think Otmar might have heard about that on the colony ship. I feel because and he feels like oh my god, they worship this terror, and so he like tenses up, but he doesn't really know how he has heard about that organization.
Just under the or above the table. That was Frank's thing, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's not going to. Yeah. South is
Wait,
just gonna.
sorry, clarified. So the fanatics is what Frank's what?
It was Frank who mentioned the children of the two divines.
Yeah. They basically believe in what Frank was, like,
Mhm.
or I guess trying to do or accomplished on Baxter's Reach, rather.
I think Gideon's gonna leave over to South to be like, "You think that was what Frank was talking about? The children of two divine or something?"
Unfortunately, yes. I don't know why he or whoever, him or somebody else, would land a ship here, but that only means one thing: that whatever was on Baxter's Reach is here. That means we need to get out of here. Or what happens on Baxter's Reach happens here.
Vidan speaks up and says, "Well, and let's take this conversation into the dwellings and continue our talk. I'd love to hear more about where you're from." And he looks over at this woman here and says, "Zuma, it is quite clear that these are neither raiders nor fanatics, but in fact traders. Let us treat them with a little bit more hospitality and a little less aggression, shall we?" Zuma says, she turns and storms off, and as she does so, says, "You're all fools. That'll be the death of us all."
I think South will pull Azuma aside and kind of, what are you so afraid of? What are these? When these fanatics landed, where did they go? What did they do?
Looks at you and says, "You really don't know anything about them, do you?"
I may know a little bit. I think a similar thing happened on Baxter's Reach, but unfortunately, the Great Mothership nuked Baxter's Reach to kind of cover it up, make sure nobody got out. But their mistake was leaving the 3 or 4 of us alive. He does work for Wayland. He wasn't bullshitting about that, or did, but we managed to get off the Alanya, and before some bad shit happened. Some bad shit that was brought back from Baxter's Reach spread across the ship. So we think. I'm not entirely sure what happened. We left before any of that shit happened, but I'm assuming probably not good.
Just last week, another ship fell from the skies and crashed. It is funny that in my lifetime, the last 35 years, we have had a total of less than half a dozen visitors. Of those, they were all raiders or these fanatics. And this last round was a ship full of fanatics who claimed to have renounced their faith and were looking for a new home, or so they claim. Thankfully, most of them perished in the crash, and only one of them survived, and we are holding him captive now.
So you say crash, so I'm assuming they were fleeing from something. The ship must have been damaged, right? Maybe they did renounce their faith. Maybe they were on the run, just like we are. We just managed to escape the Alanya with no damage, thanks to our amazing pilot, Gideon. So maybe they just weren't as lucky as we were, or they didn't have as good of a pilot.
You are not members of this cult. Are you fleeing? What are you fleeing from? I'm not quite sure I understand.
We're just fleeing, trying to get away from Baxter's Reach, trying to get away from the bad memories, trying to get away from the nightmares I have every night of watching Baxter's Reach get nuked. But as we continue on this journey, I begin to wonder if I'll ever get anywhere far enough away from Baxter's Reach to get away from the nightmares.
It would seem you might have brought your nightmares down upon us now, too. Why don't you just all just leave us alone?
That's the game plan. Game plan is just to get supplies and leave. But if you're getting as many of these fanatics as you say you are, it's only a matter of time before something bad happens, just like on Baxter's Reach. So
Precisely my point. That's precisely why you should not be here. This is precisely why we should not be welcoming you.
I understand. Just let us do some simple trade and we'll be in and out. That's all I ask.
Scoffs at that, turns her back to you, and marches off. The rest of you are escorted into town. Megs, would you like to stay behind in these fields to survey their supplies?
No, I think actually Mags would change her mind, head into town.
I need you all to make a mobility check for me, please. As you cross these rope bridges, which sway crazily with your weight.
I think South was going to stay behind and kind of look at the wares,
Okay.
but also kind of tell the rest of the crew that they do have a fanatic that had renounced his faith, or whoever he, she, whatever it is, their faith, and that it could be maybe linked to Baxter's Reach, and maybe try to see if they can maybe talk to them or find them or something like that.
So you guys are all made aware of survivor of a crash. Echo, you had no successes. Megs, you had 2 successes. Megs, you have the option of giving Echo one of your successes if you choose to.
Mags is a kind soul. She'll give one of those successes over.
So as you guys are crossing this rope bridge, which spans maybe a good 30, 40 feet, suspended above a drop easily a couple of 100 meters down, and it seems, Ricky, you can hear the ropes creaking and the whole bridge is swaying with every step, and the wind appears strong and it's raining and there's lightning. Very stressful. Megs, how do you help? I go across this bridge.
She witnesses him start to stumble.
He was actually
Uh,
scared to even get on the rope, to be honest with you. He's like,
Yeah, maybe she noted that and kept a little closer to him. And when she starts to watch him lose balance, lose control a little bit, he reaches over, grabs his hand, and says, "You are a president. Are you not? Steady yourself. Get it together, Echo."
have you seen the clip of King Charles when he was getting crowned? He had the pen, and he was like very angry at the servant and waving him like over. So as soon as they step off the bridge, that like Aiko just gets her hand and does that exact same like Prince Charles motion.
Right. I'm gonna have Gideon roll and then get back. But you guys all cross the bridge. I'm gonna bring back this map here so you can see where you guys are all at. Except for South. South, I think, is staying behind. So you landed here. You guys make your way across these fields, past some animal pens. They don't have a lot of livestock, but they have chickens. They got a few pigs and goats. Uh, enough to keep a small breeding operation going to keep themselves fed. They have some ponds here for their fresh water, and one of them is actually for has a small fishery as well. So it's pretty well stocked. I mean, these guys have been living out here for 75 years on their own, and they've found a way to sustain themselves up here on these bluffs. You notice in the middle here, all these like towering above on each one of these uh, mesas is a tall wooden stake extending like a good 50, 60 feet up, straight up, just like a pole, a wooden pole. Um, and as you're making your way across these plateaus, you're told, yeah, those are for, they act as lightning rods because there's lightning is such a frequent thing here. Before we had them, they continuously hit our buildings, so these at least attract it, and they're easily replaceable with all the wood in the jungle below. So that's what they're for. As you get to this middle uh, plateau, you can see up here. This is where the vast majority of the population live in the shanty town kind of structures with corrugated steel, scrap pieces of lumber, cloth, and tarp, kind of making their makeshift homes there. You see over here what looks to be a cleared area, wide open, no buildings except for a dais, almost a large raised area, and in front of it, stone statues, which resemble people in various poses. Hard to tell, make out at this distance, but it looks like some sort of shrine. And then you're brought into uh, the Nabo area, and this is where the meeting house is. And as you cross these bridges and make your way here, you hear someone yelling at you from this refugee camp. And you look down this street here, which is basically open, barren, like rocks and small shrubs. And these homes here are nicer. They're actually made of constructed uh, lumber. They have proper roofs and doors. And this looks like this is where the executives live on this island here. And even nicer homes in the enclave. But you see this area here is a fenced off, these little dotted lines here, and beyond those small tents. And you hear a voice yelling, "Hey, you help! Help! Help me! Please!" As you pass by there, the elders will say, "Oh, please pay no attention." sometimes there are people within our community that break the rules, and this is where we keep them separated from the rest of our community so they can't cause trouble. And
Echo's going to say, I'm no stranger to insubordination. What did this poor soul do?
Vidan pauses for a moment as you ask this question, and well, last week there was a ship that crashed. Uh, Unfortunately, most of the crew did not survive, but there was one survivor. We are simply holding him there until we figure out what we want to do with him.
You're saying that gentleman over there was on that there ship that crashed.
Yes.
You mind if I have a word with this lost soul?
It really is not worth your time.
Echo's going to put his hand on his wrist. I really do insist.
Make a manipulation check for me, please.
Oh, I was
Welcome back,
born.
Gideon. Gideon, can you make a mobility check for me, please?
Sure. Hang on, Foundry's still low for me. Okay, there we go.
You're good. That mobility check was for you crossing these swaying, flimsy rope bridges. I don't know if you've seen those before. Basically, 3 ropes, one for your feet and 2 to hold on to, as strung across over 200 meters of empty space before you hit the trees. So yeah, that was just to make sure you don't don't do anything silly and fall through them. Vidan turns to Icon and says, "Farewell." Of course.
Echo's going to saunter over. So is he like chained up or what's his?
No, he's not chained up. He's bring it back to this here. He's a black man, probably in his early 50s, older, kind of got a bit of a beard going. He's wearing tattered brown robes, similar to the robes that Frank was wearing. And he's kind of behind these bars, this closed off enclosure where the tents are, and he's kind of reaching through the bars, reaching for you. Help, please, they're holding me captive here. You must convince them to release me.
Echo's going to go over and shake his hand through the bar. Well, hello. Nice to meet you. Name's Echo.
I'm assuming the rest of you are there too. Did you follow him? Or did you want to continue on to the meeting house without Aiko?
Are we feeling pressured to move?
Well, you guys are kind of traveling as a group with a lot of townsfolk just kind of following you. It's kind of you are curiosity. Vidan and Aiko kind of veered off. It's about 100 meters from the meeting house to enclosed area with this prisoner.
I mean, I think Mags keep going.
Otmar too.
Gideon too. Oh,
Oh,
you're
you're
muted.
muted.
Yep. Okay, and South, you're back in the field still, watching over the inventory. Okay. All right, so I'll deal with Aiko and this prisoner first and says, "Hello, you must save me. I saw your ship. That was your ship that flew over.
Yeah, it was.
You must help me. You must get me out of here."
Slow down. Slow down. What's your name?
My name is Chikondi.
We'll call you
I'll follow
Chi.
Otmar and Mags.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
I just heard Gideon there. There
Yeah, I
now.
think Gideon's lagging big time. Oh, are you back? Gideon say something? No,
That's weird.
that's weird. No, your audio isn't coming in.
Try joining
And-
on your phone.
you must save me. These people here, they don't understand. They don't understand the danger I'm in, the danger that my presence here puts them in.
Breathe.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh my god, that is some wicked lag. Like 5 minutes lag. It's crazy.
That's creepy. We'll get to that part. We'll get to that part. But the ship you came in on, can that be repaired?
I am not a mechanic, or I don't know ships well enough to determine whether or not it can be.
Like,
It was
was it
it was
completely
badly.
destroyed, or is it still intact-ish?
No, the top two decks were entirely shattered. I don't think it can fly again. But your ship, you can take me away.
Well, let's not get carried away. Let's get to know each other first. What? Why did you come here?
You're fleeing. She's hunting us. She's after us. We barely escaped with our lives, but our ship was badly damaged, and when we tried to land here, none of us were very good at piloting, and what pilot we did have wasn't able to land very well, and we ended up stranded here, and everyone else is dead. It's just me. But she's going to come. She's coming for me. I know it. And she's coming for me. You're all in danger.
Who is she?
Mother Michaela. Is head of our church, or my ex-church.
And
Children of
what? Children of the.
Children of the two divines.
And why did you split off?
I came to realize the horrors that they want to inflict upon humanity in the name of perfection. We must go.
Does this perfection have anything to do with this kind of black goo-like substance?
Sorry, this what?
This black goo type of substance?
You know of it then.
Well, I've done my homework.
Then you know the danger we're in.
This mother, does she have a ship?
She has many ships, and she knows where we landed. She will be here imminently.
Is there some sort of tracking beacon on you? How is she going to find you?
Yes.
Hold that thought. So was it Vidon who was with me?
Vidan was kind of with you.
Did he hear all that?
Yeah, he would have heard all that. But this is something. It looks like something he's heard before too.
Oh, so he's not like amused or something. Okay. How much trouble would be in if this guy here is telling the truth?
Well, that is something we wish to talk to you and your crew about. If what he says is true, and his ship, although destroyed, is still sending a transponder ping, and there is a threat imminently on its way here, then we were hoping that we could enlist some help.
Who was back on the ship? Did somebody stay on the ship?
No, you're all here. Salt is near the ship, though.
Oh, South is near the ship? Oh, but he's not here. I was gonna say maybe we could radio south to go check out this ship.
Have no radios.
Oh, I think we need to make a decision fast.
While you are standing there with Vidan, I'm gonna have Leonard. He's going to stay back by the farm. Yen Yamada is kind of hanging near you, Aiko. Not right beside you, but she doesn't want to keep you out of her sight. But it is Zuma that is escorting Megs, Otmar, and Gideon to the meeting hall, Len. But she does not relish the thought of you being there. It's quite clear that she resents your presence. But she escorts
the
you to
Ico treatment.
But she escorts you to the meeting house and opens the door for you. And inside you see a pretty simple room. If you've ever seen like rooms of the DMZ, where there's a table that kind of crosses between North and South Korea, it's just like that. It's just an office room with a big table and some chairs around it. He tells you to sit down and says, all right then. Your intention is to trade and you'll leave right away.
Swiftly.
So all you want is water and food.
Max looks around.
Like, based on what they know of Electo and her plans for the ship, are we mostly here for water and food, or do we need other materials?
That's all I need really is enough to keep you guys alive.
We don't need to worry about fuel.
It's a fusion reactor, so no.
Okay.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so just water and food.
Now, as she looks at each of you, none of you, you look like good people, unlike your friend in the suit. I can tell that you, like us, have been trapped out here and defend for ourselves in these colonies while we were cut off from the Middle Heavens. In the meantime, we have had to make some difficult choices. But what we have here is a community, something that we have built for ourselves, independent of any corporation or outside influence. And I'd like to keep it that way. These are good, hardworking people in this community. And I think you can appreciate that. But I feel we are under threat. Perhaps not by you, but what you represent, and by the ship that crashed here last week. Now, the man that survived the ship, a fanatic, if it were up to me, we would have thrown him off the judgment bluff long ago. But his ship has a transponder, and it is apparently still operational and sending out a signal so that whoever he was chasing him will arrive here imminently. And I would appreciate if you could help in that matter.
In the matter of taking him off your hands?
That would be ideal. And secondly, to deal with the transponder ping.
We could do that.
Fair trade.
What's it worth to you?
I have contacts that might be able to help you survive out here. I'm not sure if you have heard of Gorham. He leads a band of marauders. Marauders, well, it's a reputation that they don't try to deny, but they are in fact not marauders, but similar to, I think, what you are. Not necessarily traders, but wanderers. Protectors, even. I could put you in touch with them.
Which individual are we talking to right now? What's their name?
Zuma.
Zuma. Got it. How far away is ship? Crash site.
You'll have to walk from here. It's in dense jungle. There's no way you could go by ship. It's about a day and a half journey from here. Not that far, but far enough.
What sort of armaments do you have to equip us? We're a little light on that sort of thing.
We don't have much ourselves. Pistols, mainly. We have a couple of pulse rifles left over, but our ammunition is limited.
As you know, the ferals out there are likely to be our biggest problem. So, equip us. And I don't want to speak for my friends here, but She looks around. I think we're willing to help.
Appreciate that. I'm sure you are equipped properly, yes, and you are correct. The pharaohs are likely your biggest threat. I understand you tried to negotiate with one when you landed.
You fucked that up royally, frankly, with your arrival, but so I'm not sure what sort of yield that will have.
Yeah. Oh, it's not expected that you would understand since you're new here, but the pharaohs have no interest in normal food. We've tried that. We've tried negotiating with them. We've tried feeding them, but they seem to have acquired a taste for flesh. If you find yourselves in a situation like that again, I would strongly suggest
You bring Aiko.
Yeah, you could be a peace offering.
Understood.
Thank you. I'll arrange for the weapons to be delivered imminently. Where would you require rest or sleep before you go, or
You get a good night's rest and your finest foods, drink.
very well?
Somebody would talk about whiskey. Where's the whiskey?
Yes, one of your pods gave the bottle. I'll make sure it's fetched for you. We try not to have too much of that here. It tends to lead to chaos. All right. I will inform the other elders of your decision, and I do appreciate your help. Perhaps this visit was not. Perhaps it has a silver lining, after all. I'm going to swing back to you, Aiko, by the enclosure. And what is his name again?
Chimura or
Chikonde.
something. We'll call him Chi.
Says, you must help me. You must help me. You must get me out of here. Please. You don't know how dangerous Mother Michaela can be. They won't listen to me.
Aiko's gonna turn to Vidon. I'm a great judge of character and an even better judge of talent. I tell you what, if Chi over here promises to follow every word I say and stick by my side, would you be willing to let him out of that there cage?
He says, I'm afraid I cannot do that. I would require the approval of the elders, and I'm but one.
Aiko's
Yeah.
gonna like put his hand on his wrist and be like, come on. He's just some low level grunt.
Yen steps forward at this and says, Yudan, Mr. Kimura is your superior. He's a president.
I didn't want to have to pull rank yen, but I do appreciate you pointing that out.
Of course. And she gives you a little bow and stands kind of just behind you to your left, as if she's your new assistant. And Vidan says, "It still requires the approval of the other two elders. I can't do it, even if I wanted to. But please, let us go to the meeting hall and we can discuss it
Well,
there."
do you have the keys on you?
No, I do not carry the keys myself. But please, we've spent far too much time here. We have other matters to discuss.
Hey, Chi, if I can get you out of here, you promise to stick by my side and do every single thing I say?
He looks at you. The last time somebody asked me to do that. Things I'm ashamed of. I will not put myself in that position again. And then he slowly backs away from the bars.
I'll let you ponder on that, Chi, but don't worry, I'm not going to make you do anything crazy.
Oh,
All right, Vidan, let's go.
the three of you, and Yen Yamada falls into step behind you and says, "Would you like a tour of this place afterwards? I can give you a private tour. It's not much, of course, but I did my best. I tried to instill the teachings or the guidelines and principles of Wayland Yutani upon this community."
So you say you studied our processes and regulations,
Very much so, yes.
and
I
what's
wrote many
regulation?
citations in my time here too.
What? Well, let's test your knowledge. What's regulation 4S17-S?
He is able to recite by heart the entire manual, just like your
Well,
little Bible.
I just so happen to have an assistant slot that has recently opened up. If you would like to apply, I would expedite your application.
I would love that. Yes, thank you so much for considering me.
Yeah, just bring me your resume. I'll give it a look. Give it a look.
Of course. I'm going to swing over back to south while you're standing. You're in the field, and there are a couple of uh, uh, farmhands kind of going through the equipment that you have laid out in the crate. The lift is still lowered, and they're kind of just cracking the crates open, taking a look at the equipment, showing, it's pretty good, and they're kind of holding it. It's all relatively in good condition, and they seem quite impressed by it. Uh, Leonard Lespera kind of throws his arm over your shoulder south. Tries to lead you slightly away from it so he could talk to you privately.
South will let him.
He leads you away from it and says, "The supplies, they're quite good. They'll help our community substantially in improving our living conditions. I thank you for offering them up as trade. I can't help but wonder, is there potentially more that we could trade with in the future?"
Unfortunately, probably not. more of just to get what we need and go. And if Desmona is right about these fanatics that keep landing here, may not be a place to come back to trade with.
Glances back up at Wicket. How many people in that hold?
I already know what the next question is, and we're almost at capacity. But we are dropping. Two of our crew members want to stay here with you guys, so in theory, there'd be 2 open spots.
Would you consider staying here? Make a life of
Yeah.
yourself. Make a life for yourselves here.
No. No, not if you have fanatics coming here. I've already been down that road. What do they say? Been there, got the T-shirt. I don't care to have anything to do with any of these fanatics.
But with the assistance of you and your crew, we could be stronger. We could defend ourselves better, especially if there's more
Leonard,
that you could possibly bring.
there's not a ship big enough to defend yourself from what's coming. These fanatics, the power that they're trying to have, this evolution, it's unstoppable. It's the whole reason. And he'll kind of look around, make sure nobody's listening or close by, and he'll say, it's the whole reason that the mothership, the Alanya, nuked Baxter's Reach so it didn't get out. They wanted to keep it a secret. These fanatics, it's not good. And if you were smart, you'd want to get out of here. There would be no making a home here. Possibly if the power doesn't go out again. On my screen, it's 2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So Leonard has kind of walked you a fair distance away from the ship now. You guys are maybe in the middle of the field, and he's saying, it's kind of draw your attention to the farmland and say, we could use your expertise here, the skills that you learned on Baxter's Reach, you and your friends. Like, you can apply them here. We could use you.
I'm not a farmer. You'd probably have a better chance of talking to Otmar. I'm a prospector. I just mine for minerals and stuff like that. I don't know anything about farming. And again, I'm not looking to settle. Especially if you have fanatics down here. It's not good news. I don't want to be anywhere near them. The quicker we can do our deal, get out of here, the better. And like I said, we're leaving. 2 of our crew want to stay. If I were you, you seem like a straight shooter. You'd want to come with us. We'll have at least 2 spots open.
As you turn to give that answer to Leonard, you catch movement out of the corner of your eye back towards the ship. And you notice that the people that were inspecting the crates are no longer there. And you see the lift of Wicket rising. And on it, half a dozen armed men. Oops, and we just lost South. He's back.
Nope,
Okay.
no, I'm back. It flickered. It flickered that time, but it come back quick enough.
Okay. And that's actually where we'll end tonight. We're approaching 11
What was that
o'clock.
last part? You said the people went into the ship, or the lift
There were
went up?
6 armed men entering Wicket.
Knew it. Knew I shouldn't have left the ship.
Were they?
I was
Did they look
so
like these
hesitant.
people, or did they look like fanatics?
They were you recognize himself as some of the individuals that first accosted you at the ship with their pistols.
I knew it. I'm glad I stayed with the ship. But not that it's gonna matter. There's 6 of them, and well, there's a few on board, so may have a fighting chance.
So that's where we'll end tonight. I think we're off next week.
Yeah.
So we'll reconvene in 2 weeks and see how this unfolds. Thanks,
Awesome.
guys. And
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.